Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to talk to you about the SPS staking requirements. The rank rewards are now based upon. This isn't going to be numbers heavy, it's going to be speculation heavy. I have thoughts about where I think there's maybe a niche opportunity for people to outsize their returns for the same investment of time and attention. And I want to explore that just in almost a conversation. I don't have answers, I have questions. And I want to bring it to you guys so that we can better understand this together. Plus, I happen to know that there are tool builders in our space that are understanding kind of the niche I'm about to talk about. And I think they are already planning answers to make this more practical and more answerable. And so one, I think there's an opportunity today for you, so pay attention. Two, I want to talk about and find answers to how we can better take advantage of this issue. And three, I want to, I guess, draw something to the attention of technology builders in this blockchain-based video game space so that we can see better tools crafted to allow us to better utilize the new SPS staking system and maximize our rewards. Okay, so let's get into that. But before we do, Splintercoach.com is a website that will track your personalized battle history. I'm really enjoying it. It's almost 3 months now. I'm using it regularly, checking out the data constantly. I'm going to switch cameras and show you something here. On the screen, you see my monsters that have the highest win rates. And some of them have 100% win rate. I mean, it just means that I don't play them very often. Captain's Ghost, Ancient Redwood. I don't take this to mean that they'll never lose. I just take it to mean there's too small of a data set. But it's interesting to then scroll down and start to see some of these 70% win rates. Well, check this out. As we get past, here we go. No, here we go. And then 3 Soul Stranger, 3 mana cap, wins a lot when it plays. Now, that's fairly niche when you look at the fact that I played 1,600 matches and this is only squeezed in 13 times. But you can start to identify things like that. 11 and 5, 13 and 6, 27 and 14. Crustacean King, now wild card, but wins a lot. When it plays and it contributes meaningfully. Peaceful Giant, again, wild card. Some of these cards are maybe not going to apply to you because of the league I play in, the league you play in. Elemental Phoenix, amazing card. This is one of my favorite cards, at least at the time when that card was released. Fire Magic wasn't their thing, but this card was like powerful new addition to it. Anyways, I love looking at this data and starting to find little gems that maybe you could rely on more often. Maybe they win a lot. Elven Mystic, Goblin Psychic. That's maybe no surprise, actually. So I'm really enjoying it. Now let's transition into the topic I want to tackle today. The SPS staking rewards. We now have our returns for playing are now based upon obviously success. You still need to win, but ultimately the boost, the reward boost is based upon the SPS that you have as well as the guild reward bonuses that you're getting. So SPS stake creates a multiplier of some number for you, and guild bonus creates a multiplier of some number for you. If you're not in a guild, you should be. It's one of the ways that you can get outsized rewards for your time and effort in this game. Plus, it's entertaining. It's one of the most fun. Guild battles are one of the most fun things for me, at least in Splinterlands today. But the SPS staking element is something that I'm trying to get my head around, and I'm trying to understand better. How can I maximize my benefits, right? There's a new system at play. Is there some sort of niche opportunities? I think there might be. I think every time you see a transition in game mechanics, in the rules or the rule sets, in the cards that are being played or issued, the packs that are being sold, whenever there's a major change in, I don't know if you want to call it meta exactly, because it's almost the economy here with the SPS staking, but a dramatic difference has just occurred. And the question is, are you still earning the same that you were before? Are you earning more? Is there a way to earn more for the same effort? I think maybe there is. It depends in part on how much SPS you have staked, but it also depends in part how much staked SPS exists out there with your opponents, with the rest of the community. If you happen to have, let's say, 75% of the SPS that you're, expected, or that might be optimal, but everyone else has 25% of the SPS that would be optimal, then you actually are going to receive an outsized gain or bigger slice of the pie, proportionally speaking, despite your less than optimal SPS stake. And so understanding that is actually something that you can practice and something that you can do. I don't know exactly. This is where the questions come up. I'm telling you, what I'm saying is true. There are ways you can think this through and find advantages for yourself. There might be niche opportunities. I think that's what that's where my head's at. Now the questions begin. How do I determine how much SPS is truly necessary? Because it's an ever moving total as other people change and increase or decrease their SPS stakes. And one way that I've thought about it in the last few days is that, looking at my rewards, you can see now this is kind of imprecise and it's anecdotal, but you can look at the SPS, battle SPS earned, and it's going to depend on what my daily quest was, and it's going to depend on whether I rented cards that day or not. It's going to depend on how busy. It's going to depend on a lot of variables that make it anecdotal and perhaps not reliable. But just looking at the last few days, 7 chests and 6 chests, 6 chests, 5 chests, 9, so 11. So like even that variation, number of chests earned, affects the potential for the SPS that's totally collected because there's SPS in the chest. But the battle side should be theoretically pretty stable across every day because I'm only able to play the energy that I have. And I'm not unless I put in extra DEC on some days, but I'm not right now. So when I look at this and I see 120 battle SPS, 109, 90, 97, 96, 156, 230. Now that was looks like a particularly special day, and we had 12 chests that day. That's a bit of a different one, like we just pointed out, a bit of an anomaly maybe, but it looks as though 100 to 130 has been the standard for me, predating the transfer from the old system with collection power and just what you got in whatever league you're fighting in to now the SPS staking. And this is important. See 110, 104, 121. It's been stable is what I'm saying. This is important because I don't actually have the SPS that I need maximally, according to the original blog post that was being put out and suggested around how much you need, or needs the wrong word, but the amount of SPS that would be optimal for the league that I play in, which is Champ 2. I think it was 280,000 SPS, and I've got 200,000 as of just yesterday, so 201,000. So I have less than a maximum or less than the optimized threshold, and yet I have a pretty substantial reward or return, as indicated by that multiplier on the battle screen, on my boosts, my reward boosts. So, first question, how much do you need? How much is optimal? Because it's not actually the quote unquote maximum, right? Would that be optimal? Yes. But given what your opponents are doing, it's possible a lower number is fine and substantive and equal to what you used to earn. That's a question I don't fully know and understand. And I would love it if we could see, I saw the recent conversation with the People's Guild and Skylar, the developer of the OBSBOT, and he was explaining that it was in like one little sentence. He kind of said it would be possible to code something where you could understand what you quote. He didn't say that need. He didn't say it this way, but it was. I wish I had a clip prepared for you, but I haven't checked with People's Guild to see if it would even be okay. People's Guild, if you're watching this, just let me know if you ever mind if I do like a 10 or 30 second clip from your thing, because I sometimes hear you guys' stuff. It's good stuff. Check them out, guys, the People's Guild. And I'd love to comment on some of the things that you're hearing in some of these interviews with Hardpoint, with these amazing visitors that are popping by. So Skylar said something like it would be possible to track how much SPS you need. And that would be a moving target because, again, the community and what they stake or unstake would impact the requirements upon you. And so I would love to see a tool be developed where I could come in here in under the management screen and I could see that, for instance, if I had another 80,000 SPS, my SPS stake reward maybe goes from 8.5 to maybe 20. Some crazy, right? It might be this massive change, or it might go from 8.5 to 9.5. And then that would allow me a data point with which to make the decision if I want to go hard and get another 80,000 SPS, maybe buying that, maybe creating buying pressure, because it's giving us, essentially it's letting you see where the finish line is, or letting you see where you might, I guess, make the greatest outsized return for the investment on SPS. And even if it's not a buying acquisition, maybe it's a rental acquisition, and then that's more renting pressure or demand for the SPS that's available on the rental markets. And so that's one of my questions. I wish there was tools that existed like that, and it seems like the OBSBOT people are already thinking about it. So Skylar, I hope you hear this, and I hope you're able to put something like that together. It'd be amazing to see, or Splinterlands, if there's some way for me to better understand how big of a difference another 50,000 SPS, 5,000 SPS might make for this, because I think that could drive extra buying pressure. But when there's a lack of clarity, I think there's a unique opportunity too. If someone wanted to journal for themselves the returns you're receiving at whatever threshold you're staked at, and then change your stake and analyze the multiplier change, I think you might be able to find that for little amounts of money, whether it's renting SPS or buying SPS, because we're still under 2 cents, I think you might find that it's really inexpensive to get a massive multiplier. And if a tool like the one I suggested and requested, and I think Skylar's already looking, or I think it's Skylar is already looking at from OBSBOT, then I suspect that tool would then equip everybody and change the niche opportunity that might exist right now. Do you see what I mean? If there's no tool and you have to crunch the numbers yourself, it becomes fewer people are going to try it. And so then maybe SPS prices are lower, and because there's a lack of demand, because people aren't going that extra inch or the extra, yard to get to that next, that next milestone that's going to multiply your multiplier. But if it becomes easy and there's a tool, then everybody gets that next 1,000, or everybody gets that next 5,000, or everybody gets that next multiplier bonus, because they're hitting those breakpoints. So when it's hard, you might find niche opportunities where you can grow your multiplier in a major way while others aren't. So one, I want that tool, but two, in the meantime, while a tool doesn't exist, I think you could probably pay attention to this and figure it out and increase your stake multiplier faster than others. Plus there was all the, I don't know if we found, I suspect SPS prices on the rental market at this moment would be lower than you would imagine they will be in the future. And I think there needs to be an equilibrium usually with stuff like this. So I suspect the prices are going to be fair for a while. Now, that's a bit of a guess, but I'm bringing questions to this. I don't really know. I'm just trying to think this through, because I personally want to benefit by increasing my boost modifiers as high and as significantly as I can for as least investment as I can. That's the question. And I think there's ways to think this through. So again, I don't really have answers. I just wanted to spark the conversation and hopefully provoke the power, the skilled minds that exist to work on such a tool. I think it would be a powerful addition. I think it's already coming anyways, but man, right now before it exists, and I've seen this, I think right now before it exists, there's a unique opportunity. And I've seen this before because Peak Monsters has constantly created tools that add, new filters or new ways of looking at, the compare window, the CP to cost ratio, different filters have allowed market buyers to identify the greatest deals in ways that before would have taken a lot of personal effort. And so tools can make the job easier and more accessible to the masses, but while the job is not easily accessible, not augmented and made more simple from tools that exist, the mind and the person that is willing to put in the effort to navigate that space can really benefit. Card flipping in Splinterlands was far more profitable, I think, before Peak Monsters became the amazing, well thought out, super nuanced device and tool that it now is. And that's great for the average user. But there's an opportunity in the chaos of a moment of transition that probably exists today because of the SPS modifiers in a way that won't exist in 3-4 weeks, maybe 3-4 months, or when these sorts of tools become available. So maybe think that through. I'd love to see some comments below. Are there ways that you're, tracking your own boost modifiers? Are there things that can move the needle that you're already aware of? I'd love it if our community kind of supported each other in finding some of these little things. The other day, I staked 7,000 SPS and I went from 836-ish to 846. So like 1/10 of one modifier booster for 7,000 SPS. Now that doesn't feel substantive, but the rental costs aren't necessarily that high, and neither is the purchase cost. I mean, frankly, 7,000 would still be, $140, but there are, if the breakpoints were made clear, I might just reach for it. I might just reach for that next breakpoint. I might just rent the SPS or buy the SPS. It's a very exciting time, and I think that would help to drive SPS prices too, because if it was made clear how I would personally benefit by 5,000 more, 50,000 more, I think that tool might spark more rentals or purchases. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And guys, as always, thank you so much for your time and attention. I really appreciate you hanging out, supporting the channel, likes, subscriptions, comments. It's amazing. Check out splintercoach.com. I'm really enjoying it. I think you will too. Bye for now.